let me share my screen. There are a couple of things I want to share before we get started. First, if you are not part of our Facebook group, go ahead and join. Joining it just allows you to get access to more other customers. So I'm going to paste it here. I will have to approve you. So we have 800 plus members now. Right now, Casual Portal also has 800 plus customers. So that's pretty good. So if you have a chance, go ahead and join them. Here is a chance. A lot of times I will post new products or asking for suggestions on our existing products. So it's a collaborative Facebook group that you can share information. Today, we're going to focus a lot on underwriting. And the purpose of my call is to really show you what we have done on underwriting. And folks, you can give me some suggestions on what you would like to see in underwriting for next year. I think right now, people are not necessarily underwriting until end of the year, but they will definitely start underwriting early next year. So we made a ton of progress this year on underwriting. But to recap, Casual Portal has multiple product lines, including a investor portal, including a CRM, a underwriting software, a marketplace. We can chat about that in the future, and also a backend fund administration service that includes the accounting for your syndications and your funds. The underwriting is the fastest growing product of our company. In terms of number of customers and in terms of the amount of demos I do personally. And so I'm very excited about underwriting. So I'm going to show you what the product looks like to just give a lot of folks a refresher. Then I will go into kind of some of the meta points about AI and underwriting. And so you can stay until the end to learn more about how I feel about AI in general. So we're gonna do a fun exercise on what with two truths and a lie on what will happen to AI and underwriting. Okay, all right, great. All right, let's go into it. And this will be recorded. This will be on our YouTube channel, and it usually gets uploaded within a week. So if you miss this, no worries. If you need to log off, no worries. It will be up in a week. All right. So some of you already attend the prior underwriting call. And we have given 2 webinars this year on underwriting, and every time it gets better and better. Maybe you can put in the chat room here, what assets do you primarily underwrite? What assets do you like to underwrite? Right, whether that's multifamily or industrial or of self-storage or mobile home parks or senior living or industrial or retail. You put it here, and then we can, multifamily, industrial, storage. Oh, I like this. Okay, cool. Multifamily. Okay. So right now we are mostly for multifamily, although it can be morphed into retail and development very, very soon. And that's the plan for next year. Okay, yes, go ahead and put them here. All right, so let's go into a deal. Let me show you the new things that we have shipped on underwriting, and folks can put in questions in the chat anytime. Okay. All right. So the first thing is you can see this rent roll and unit mix. The things that we added, so you can see insights. Insights shows how many units and rents of each unit type when the leases end. Okay, when the leases end, which is really nice. And we added this since last time, which is the software tells you what the AI did. So AI say column D is unit number, column E is unit type. And so you can manually override it. So if you didn't believe that column E was unit type, you can change it. So it has this representation of what AI did, and you can change the result if you want to. And that's really nice. And similarly, you can see line 9 in this case. It says this does not include rent. Why does it not include rent? It's because it's the same unit number. You see 0106, 0106. Your rent roll is just all over the place sometimes. One is occupied and one is an applicant. And so this person is moving out soon. And so as you can see that the applicant should not be part of the rent roll. The line number A is part of the rent roll. So that's very interesting. And so you can see that AI saying, "Hey, I don't want to classify line 9. That's automatic." Okay, so that's you find out all these little things when you start doing this kind of AI for underwriting. Okay, so that's the rent roll. And so what it does, it automatically parse your unit type and unit mix and occupied units and so on. And it shows you this kind of physical occupancy. How many of them are occupied? How many of them are not occupied? Okay. All right. So then the next thing is if you go into T12. Now, a quick just for folks who are using our software, the top left navigation, you see the data sources, assumption, modeling. This is what's called the primary navigation bar. And at the bottom is called the secondary navigation bar. The secondary navigation bar is also part of the dropdown. We put them at the bottom here where my mouse is at, just for convenience. But you can get access to it by clicking on the primary and then click on whichever one of those. Okay. There's the tertiary navigation bar, and that's right there at the top. This is the tertiary. Okay. So the thing that we added for T12 is we added this really cool thing where we use AI to parse any anomalies about the T12. So it says concessions jump to 1,504 in month 11, cell L17. L17 right here, far outside of the prior range. This drives total rental income down 136,000. Such an outside single month concession distorts in-place rent and trailing averages. So it just says that, hey, this line, which we color coded as red, this is automatic at this point, that like line 21 is so much lower than everything else. And so it points out this anomaly, which is kind of cool. So what this achieves is that you can just go to the broker and like, yo, what's happening on this month? At least like my AI says that something about your T12 is wrong. Okay, something about your T12 is wrong. Okay, all right, cool. So that's what happened. All right. So, and then it will color code it by severity. All the rest stuff is highly severe. So it also, for example, you see like this month, the net operating income is so much higher and da da da. So it will also pay attention that, hey, what happened on this month? The other thing that it points out is sometimes your T12 has this missing columns, like maybe the last month is all empty, or maybe that there's a big spike in one of the months that it will catch those. So these are all the red stuff. So that's pretty cool. So you will say, hey, here, this one right here has a negative 12,000 for flooring. So you might say, hey, what happened on that month? You can find all of that with your human eyes. It's just that when with the human eyes, you see a bunch of numbers and you don't know what is what. And so this is very helpful to use AI to see the anomalies. You can also say, hey, why don't I just put this, spreadsheet into ChatGPT? It will tell me the same thing. Yes, it will. It will tell you the same thing. The difference is that here is a all-in-one package where you save these numbers. They're part of your whole day-to-day system, as opposed that that number now needs to live in ChatGPT and you have to copy paste it into your Google spreadsheet and so on and so forth, right? And so you can do all of this yourself as well, which will get into some of the meta points about underwriting in general. Okay, and then the last thing we did was here you have an OM. So this is a typical OM that you will upload, right here. This is for IPA, which is kind of cool, and this is the typical OM. And what we did is we automatically, when you upload the OM, it automatically parse all the photos from the OM. It also parse, if we can find them, any information about the roof, the exterior, the wiring, the foundation, the plumbing, the HVAC. Okay, and then it also rewords the descriptions from your OM. And then it figures out how many parking spaces. A lot of times, someone can reject a deal just because of the plumbing that someone uses. So if this is like, for example, cast iron plumbing, right, as opposed to PVC, you might actually reject it. And so analysts could do all the work to only find out that's cast iron. And then they're like, oh, well, we're going to reject this deal. And so this can save quite a bit of time. Okay. Similarly, we pull the insights around this area. So you can see here that there is those are the photos about the market, and these are the area highlights. This is the photos about the employees, okay? And there are lots of employees here. There are lots of employees. You can delete them, okay? You can delete those. You can delete some extra ones if you want. And then we also see the photo library here. You can see at the bottom, these are all the libraries. These are all the photos of that extract from your OM. And so what happens here is what you can do is with a click of a button, you can generate your pitch deck. This does take about a couple minutes. So there's that. So the idea is if you could use your spreadsheet, but the problem is people like to think of underwriting in general as a standalone activity, but it's highly integrated from what we learn into your day-to-day activities, such as your marketing material, such as your pitch deck, such as the vendors you talk to. Right now, if you have multiple syndications, you actually don't know like who's my lender again, what's my DSCR on this deal, who is my which insurance company do I use, which cost segregation. So underwriting is actually one of the many things that you do. What we want is the connectedness to the rest of your pieces, right? On Casual Portal, if folks are probably a customer of ours at this point, we have this beautiful thing where you can create marketing, you can transactional emails, monthly updates that's tied to your KPIs. And similarly, we want to our customers to start with the underwriting, and that kind of forms the foundation. And then all the context, all the CRM, all the marketing, all the webinar, and the raising money is all tied to the numbers that you are projecting, right? Even in the future, asset management. So that's kind of the future we're going. Now, going back to this presentation, you can see you have the cover photo, you have the property, you have the asset. This automatically gets formed. So your webinar deck is actually formed in this PowerPoint presentation or Google presentation. I remember that in order to get this like graph, it took me forever to like put those numbers in myself, and this now gets generated automatically. So you can generate a pitch deck here. So you can see these are the photos. Now these photos are not high resolution. That's because the OM doesn't have high resolution photos. So you want to replace them. Or what you can do is you can upload them onto the photos, and then this will automatically generate. And then you can see the employers here. You can also generate this beautiful chart. And then it has these rank comps, and then there are more rank comps. There is the unit mix. There's the pro forma projections. This is my waterfall, which is really cool. This has a really complex waterfall. This has like the pref equity plus the LP, a 70-30 split until a 15% IRR, and then 50-50 split. So that's cool. And then there's the projection, and then these are the sensitivity analysis. So sensitivity analysis gets generated pretty quickly. All right. So any questions before I go into kind of the rest of them? Okay. So if I keep update, I can use it. Okay, cool. Very cool. Multifamily, same industry, same living. Yeah. If you folks see folks who are working in the same industry, go ahead and you can DM them offline or just message them on Facebook once you are part of the Facebook group. All right. Any questions on the data sources before I go into the assumptions? So what we have added here is being able to parse an OM, being able to start looking into connecting underwriting into the rest of your system, as opposed to be a standalone isolated process. Okay. All right, Jennifer asked a question about sensitivity analysis. Okay, let's talk about that. So one of the coolest things about sensitivity analysis, before I go into like what we did, how would you generate sensitivity analysis? I know the way I did it with my spreadsheet was I change, for example, there's like if I change the reversion cap rate, what happens to the total return, right? What happens to the IRR? I remember I literally like changed my reversion cap rate by a little bit and then see what happens to the sensitivity analysis. I change it a little bit more and then see what happens. And I do the same thing for occupancy and so on. So we added this beautiful feature called this part sensitivity analysis. And so the graph gets calculated pretty quickly. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so let me, so right now, the numbers don't look very good. So let's check. Let's just use this example, go over any of the numbers. There's this pin next to metrics. Okay, there's the negative 8% IRR. And then right now the exit price. Okay, so let me just change this to say 30 million. 30 million. Okay, very good. Okay, now it's 18% return. Yeah, it was always set to 30 million. Okay, now it's 18% return. You see here, my target metrics, I can set it to be 1.8. So this is my target metric. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Zoom in here. This is my actual equity multiple, which is 1.88. Okay, which is the same as this total investor return. So that's my equity multiple. My target IRR, let's call it my target IRR to be 16%. I'm happy with 16%. And my actual IRR is 18.43, which matches this number. And my target cash and cash, let's say 6%. And my actual cash and cash is 7%. To see sensitivity analysis, you click on modeling and you click on sensitivity analysis. And let's go through the first chart here. Okay. Let me refresh this page. Okay, great. You can see here. So this is the matrix. The way you read this matrix is there's the purchase price and then there's the exit cap. And right now I'm sitting right here in the middle, 30 million, right? And the IRR is 18%. The equity multiple is 1.88. The cash and cash is 7.2. The reason that these are green is that they are above my target. And as you can see, the target is something I could change. It's arbitrary. Okay. When it's within 10% of my target, it's yellow. And then when it's below more than 10% difference, it's red. Okay. So that's that. So people often ask like, what's the best price for this deal? And if you go back to a spreadsheet, you keep changing this number and then like you keep changing the numbers and see what happens. But here you can pretty much see, oh, you know what? If I offer a $30 million purchase price, if the exit cap increases to 7%, then my IRR will be yellow. So like if I want to be still green, in spite of the 50 basis point increase in my exit cap, then I should maybe offer a $29 million purchase price, because in that case my IRR is still green in quote unquote the worst case scenario. And then similarly, if you look at 32 million, this is what happens. So you see a bunch of numbers all at once. Let's go to the next one. This one is the occupancy stress. The occupancy stress is saying these are my years, and then this is the break even. So let's say on year one, in order to break even, I need at least a 77% occupancy. This is economic occupancy. In order to achieve 1.25, this is 88% DSCR and so on. Okay, and there's a description on that. The reason that more than 100% is red is that it's impossible to have more than 100% economic vacancy. That's why it's red. It's like it's impossible to achieve. So the lower, the easier occupancy is to achieve. That's why 70%, 60% is all green, and then above the 80 something percent, it's all yellow. So that's how you read it. Okay, so you can see this is wonderful. You cannot. It's very, very difficult to do this on a spreadsheet. Then you see this exit cap and equity multiple IRR. You see the rent roll and exit cap along with the equity multiple and cash and cash sensitivity analysis. Each one of them gets automatically generated. Each one of them, you can actually download it and then put it in your webinar deck. Each one of them, when you export to a webinar deck, it will be included. Okay, so this is how you look at it. Any questions on that point? Jennifer, does that answer your question about sensitivity? Yeah. Okay, let me.
Yes.
I know that's quite.
Thank you. That was great.
Of course. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
I know that's a lot to go over because we go through a lot of the numbers all at once. All right, so that's a very powerful usage of sensitivity analysis. All right, let me go back to assumptions. So let me go through each one of them just so that folks notes. One, you can see this looks like a spreadsheet, and whenever I go through the assumptions, I like to unpin my metrics because if I look at my metrics, it will influence how I put in the assumptions. I want to make the numbers as good as possible, so I want to be impartial, so I'll unpin them. That's my workflow. This is the property. This is my unit mix. And this is coming from the rent roll, right? Okay, so you can see we have a development period and a lease-up period. Development period is very useful if you are doing build to rent or you have a few units that you want to develop, okay? And these unit types is very agnostic of whether that is self-storage or not, okay? Then the lease-up period is how long does it take for your units to be leased up. Right now, I put 24 months, but I can also put 12 months. And then you can see just like a spreadsheet. This is a spreadsheet. You can do like command enter in the Mac, and then this will automatically update the lease-up period across the board, which is very, very nice. Okay. Now let's go into income. So income, you can see this is my rent increase forced appreciation. My forced appreciation is 7%. And the role that I often look for is total income increase. So the first year is a 14% income increase. Second year, 3%, 3%, 3%, 3%. So that's looking pretty good. Okay. If I scroll down, I can see all my other income. Other income come from my T12. And so once they parse, they automatically show up here. So let me show you something. So you can see this is a 662, right? So let me add a new item. And now I'm going to say like parking, reserve parking. I'm going to do reserve parking. And right now it's getting $0. And I'm going to charge $250. And then I can say I want to charge $250 per unit. Okay, per unit. And so that's about 64,000. That brings my total other income to 726,000. So if I scroll up now, you can see right here, line 13, my other income has jumped to 726,000. So this 726 is what's called a derived fee. So all the white sales are derived. They are computed from somewhere else. And this is the formula on how we compute it. And then all the blue cells is user input. So this is all the user input cells. So that's what that looks like. Okay. And you can see my rental income, my ROPS income. We can classify ROPS income as well. So that's on the income. On the expenses, I'm gonna go through this pretty quickly, just so see that what the underwriting is capable of. Okay. The expense thing is something we also added quite a bit. So now you can say, this is my T12, this is my year 1, this is my year 2. Every year you can say, I want just a 3% year over increase. I just want to increase. Or I can say, every one of those line items, I can do a total, I can do it per unit, I can do a percentage of income, or I can do a percentage of purchase price. I can do either one. So for example, sometimes you might do some, call it like contract services, like a cable, and you only want to implement that starting on year 2. And so, well, in that case, I'm just gonna, add a new one and then do like utilities other. And then this thing, instead of 27,000, I'm just gonna do like total, or maybe a per unit, and then I'm going to pay, call it like, instead of $200 a month. So starting in year 2, because I'm adding my cable service, I want to do 200 per unit. It's independent of the past at this point. Okay. When you do that, the other thing we shipped is this is not automatically updated, just like a spreadsheet. So this is this stuff. Okay. So this is year over year. Now, right, so then if I add that, let's see what happens with the IRR. IRR changes to 21%. That's cool. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it this way. Okay, let's say that this is my IRR. And then closing costs, very, very easy. CapEx, very, very easy. You can do line items. Now, let me show you some really cool things. Okay, so right now the IRR is 21%. So far, so good. But this is actually with a refinance. This is on a refinance on the 3rd year, and then the loan to value is 70%. In fact, this one has a loan 1 and a supplemental loan. So initially it has loan 1 and loan 2. So it's 80% leverage. And then 3 years from now, I'm going to do a supplemental. And 3 years from now, I'm going to do a refinance. But I'm refinancing both of them. But you can say, I only want to refinance the loan 1, I only want to refinance the loan 2, or I want to refinance none. Refinance none means that you're adding to it. Okay, which in this case, it wouldn't be realistic. It's already 80% leverage. You cannot do a refinance of plus 80%. And so in that world, you get this pretty big proceeds with refinance. This results in a 21% IRR. That's cool. But let's check this out. Let me go into distribution waterfall, click on projection. And on the 3rd year, right here, preferred equity gets this amount of money back. And then LP Class A gets $4.8 million back. So this is being shown. On year 3, this will be refinanced on year 3. Similarly, if I go back to finance now, refinance, and let's say if I don't have refinance, okay? If I don't have refinance, I just make a no. And then watch what happens to IRR. IRR goes back to 15%, okay? And then now if I go into marketing and click on projection, if I scroll down, you see year 3 has nothing. And then if I scroll down here more, year 3 has nothing. Okay, so the reason that this works, it's like what strength does Cash Flow Portal bring into underwriting? And I believe what we bring is we have a proprietary distribution engine that has so far distribute from a transfer of money perspective, more than $500 million to LPs. And the distribution engine just works. And we are applying that distribution engine, the rigor of mathematical calculation, onto underwriting. It literally is a click of a button to say, hey, what if I refinance? What if I don't refinance? What's better is that if you click on this finance and uses, this is the refinance in the third year. What you can do is you can create a new scenario, and the old scenario doesn't get lost. It just stays there, as opposed to a spreadsheet that you have to create one more spreadsheet for all the different permutations. And so that's that. So to recap, is the ability to run different types of waterfalls that is truly proprietary, and we call that the distribution engine. And then the ability to kind of plug into the OM, the T12, the RANRO. So the parsing, the math, and the scenario planning. Those are the two differentiators of a software-based underwriting model as opposed to a spreadsheet-based underwriting model, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Let me pause there again for any questions. Great. Cool. Thanks, Jennifer. All right. Cool. I think one of the questions Kash asked, can I build pro forma monthly instead of annual? Great question. So there are two parts to it. If you go into assumptions, right now this is only year over year per unit. So there's that. You can right click and show month, and then that will show the month over month. You can do that. Okay, that's cool. Like, see, you will not notice that. Discovery is one of the problems here. Okay, so you can do that. But currently, there's no like, oh, there's a way to say like every month. I feel like that's a little bit too granular. But if you really want it, let us know and we can think about it. Okay. Now for the rent, 100% you can do that. So let me go into unit mix. You see these are the rents that they're monthly. But sometimes with your retail, some of your unit types are actually like yearly payments, and some of the Airbnbs are actually daily payments. So you can actually do the frequency, change the frequency of your unit type. This is not pro forma for expenses. This is more pro forma for unit mix. So there is not sure if that's exactly what Kash you're asking, but there is, you can set monthly, daily, yearly, or weekly rent, okay, for each unit type. But in terms of the expenses right now, it's only you can set it for the year, and then we show you what each month is, okay? All right. All right, so Ming Fang asks, besides underwriting, can this be used for actual operations to figure out efficiency and reduce fat after acquisition? So I've been using it on my own software, on my own property, and some of this T12 is my T12, okay? Because I don't want to use customers' T12 and so on. And by the way, just for the record, your T12 is 100% proprietary. Your T12 belongs to you. We don't use it. We don't go after the same deal. I'm not even a GP, so this is 100% like we take that very, very seriously. Your T12 is your T12. Okay. So yeah, so you can see here net operating income. So a lot of times you can upload your T12 and we basically kind of figure out the anomalies. And so Ming has a very interesting perspective. This is not only to get new deals, but to assess whether you're on track. That brings me to a very important point of like, what's my vision for the company? The vision is literally just start with the numbers, start with the underwriting, because that's the first step. Use the CRM to raise money. Maybe once you have your business plan, the CRM can write your marketing email, right? Because it knows your business plan. Raise money through Cash Portal. Then there will be asset managing, which I know we wanted to ship this, but we're gonna work on this next year. And the asset management is kind of like an accounting software that compare with the actual against the projected. Okay. And then you can refine your monthly financials to see if you're missing anything. One of the things that people often tell us that they complain about is, they say, I love Cash Portal because I'm using the portal to raise money. And basically, Cash Portal walks through all the steps I need to raise money. They go through like summary, key metrics, my connect with my bank account, all the waterfalls. It's like, yeah, it's kind of walks through the checklist. But there's nothing that says, hey, what's the checklist to make sure that I'm on track? whether it comes to like renovation budget, comes to like the occupancy level, and in terms of the economic vacancy, and in terms of the total collectible collections. Um, our customers wish that there's almost like a system that's like fill out this sheet, fill out this sheet, and fill out this sheet. And before they know it, they have a good asset management system in place. Right now, everyone is building their asset management system on a spreadsheet. That's good, but it's all over the place and there's no standard. And what we want to do is we want to almost be a guided tour of like, this is how most people do it, and so on and so on and so forth. Okay, cool. All right, so that's that. All right, so let's go into the distribution waterfall here. Let me pause again for questions. I would love to answer more of clients' questions. I hope the what we are trying to do with underwriting makes sense. All right. Cool. And then if you have questions, just write it out here. All right. Let's talk about, so let's also go down a little bit more about waterfalls and distribution engine. So as you can see here, key metrics right now is 15%. And now it does not have a refinance because I want to be more conservative. Right now, I'm using a pref equity partner. And the way that pref equity works is that during liquidation event, my pref equity gets 100% of their money back. My pref equity gets 12% cash and cash, including their current. So this is current plus accrual. Okay. So, and then the LP gets 100% of their money back. Then it's a 70-30 split until the LP gets a 15% IRR, and then it's a 50-50 split. So far, so good. If you look at the non-liquidation events, the LP, the pref equity gets a 6%, and then the Class A gets that 7%, and then it's a 70-30 split. So you break it down into non-liquidation event and liquidation event. So far, so cool, right? So then you're like, okay, well, what if I just want to do a straight split? What if I do a preferred return? So you can click on this thing called import template, and then you can import different kinds of waterfalls to see what happens. If I go into the straight split will by definition have less IRR because with the pref equity, what's the best way to put this? The pref equity is extra leverage. You are using you adding more debt, right? So the return will be higher. It's just more risky. So if I click on straight split, you bet that this IRR will go down. Let's click on it. Okay, wait for it. Yeah, the IRR goes down to 14%. And then similarly, if I go into pref waterfall without the pref equity, just the preferred return, if I click on preferred return, it will be very, very similar. Okay, so click on this thing. It will be 14.12%. Yeah. So with the preferred return, obviously you're gonna give your LPs a little bit more. So unless the deal is really good, you are chewing them up first before the GPs makes any money. Okay, so as you can see, you can try out different waterfalls to see what works the best. And what's more is that whatever waterfall you end up choosing, the webinar gets created automatically, as opposed to like, you talk to the attorney, create the right waterfall, you change your spreadsheet, then you like literally plug in every single number on your webinar deck. Okay, so there's that. Okay, cool. All right, sounds good. Now, Jennifer asks if there's a trial period. So this is how it works. When you click on the word AI underwriting, you have one free deal to try out. There's also a sample underwriting that you can play with it however you like. So you can play with it. There's no time period. You can play with it for a year. You can play for half a year. It's only when you try to create your second deal that we ask for you to upgrade if you want it. And the price for the upgrade is the following. If I go into pricing here, just click on underwriting. It's $79. That's what most people choose. Okay, and this is up to 30 new deals a month for the whole team. Okay, so this is 30 new deals, so $79 a month. Okay, and if your team members want read-only seats, that's unlimited seats. But if your team members also want to be able to contribute, then it's another $79 per month per seat. So most people have two members. They need access to underwriting, and so you're looking at $160 a month. That allows you to underwrite 30 new deals, which is sufficient for almost everyone. Okay. And then there's the enterprise, which are the brokers, are used by the brokers. They want unlimited deals and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So that's on that side. So we talk about modeling, we talk about sensitivity analysis, we talk about the pitch deck, let's also talk about the rank comps. So the rank comps is what you can do is you can click on the word get rank comps, and then you're like, hey, I get the address. I never have to type my address in. Okay. I basically, put like number 2 and then import. And then this will import all my 2 bedrooms in the area right here. This is all my 2 bedrooms in the area. Okay. So which is really, really cool. Okay. And then once it gets the all 2 bedrooms, you can click into it. And then there's this link called like Google search. So if you want to find out what they are really going for, you literally click on that, and that just takes you a shortcut into this hub Chisholm Trail, which is like kind of nice. Okay. You might ask, where does this data come from? It comes from apartments.com, but we use this API called Rentometer on this. Okay. Right now, it's only apartments.com, right? All right. So the other question, Kash, is like, is this bundled with the investor portal? That's a great question. So right now, everything is unbundled. So you can be an underwriting software without being a investor portal a customer, and you can. A lot of people actually start with the CRM and start with the underwriting, and then when they get the deal, then they upgrade to investor portal. We also have some enterprise customers that basically want everything together. They like, I want my investor portal. I want like 10 seats of underwriting. And remember, 10 seats of underwriting is already like, $800. Okay. I want like a CRM that is like, a 10,000 contacts. And I want my investor portal to be raised up to like $200 million. We have those customers, and we have a bundle price. Is not listed on the website, and the bundle one starts at 25K a year. 25K a year, you basically have close to unlimited of everything you like, but that's a master like contract. It's like 25K a year. Basically, you can have as many members as you like. You pretty much underwrite unlimited deals, and then you have unlimited CRM. And that's kind of the direction that we're moving to. So if you're interested, you can schedule a call with me to talk about the bundle. But for most folks that are starting out, I recommend unbundling. And the unbundling price, the unbundled price, is what's showing out on the website. Okay, the bundle price is more of a kind of like a part of the secret menu that when you hit a certain scale, people naturally ask, hey, can I just combine my CRM with you guys? Can I add the underwriting? Can I do everything with Cashier Portal? And then here's the price. And just to be clear, with the bundle, it gets better. With the bundle, let's say we come out with asset management next year, right? Say we come out with like property management. What will happen with the bundle is that you get those things for free. You get every new feature that we ever develop for free, except for Fund Admin. Fund Admin is not a software. It's just like a human, accountant doing the work. So Fund Admin is not part of the bundle, unfortunately. But all the softwareness, underwriting, CRM, portal, property management, asset management, you will get them for free because you signed a master contract to say everything that Cashier Portal will develop, it's all part of the bundle. And the idea is that if you have any need, tell us and we'll continue. It provides the right framework for the company to keep innovating on your behalf because throughout your contract, the software already becomes more and more valuable. So that's the direction we're going. All right, so that's quite a bit of a lot about underwriting. Any questions before I move on to some of the meta points? Okay. By the way, we also added this thing called disposition fee, so that's quite nice. And then if you look at the modeling, if you go at distribution waterfall projections, you can see this is what the GP makes. GP makes $300,000 from acquisition fee. GP makes this amount from disposition fee, and then this is the asset management fee, and this is GP doesn't make much on the cash flow until the sale, which in this case that's a true statement because we have quite a bit of because we have the preferred equity and so on. Okay, so that's that. And also the cash flow is not that high. Like cash and cash is not that high. And yeah, cash and cash is only 5.86%. And there's a 7% preferred. And that's therefore the general partners don't make any cash flow. Man, it's so obvious. I love this. Even I'm like making sense of the data. That's cool. What else I'm gonna say? we do know there is a feature request. People ask, hey, if I have like 20 GP, if I have like 5 GPs and each one of them has different acquisition fee, different disposition fee, can I plot those in? Yes, that is something in the works. We will add those in. Okay. Cash as equity split calculation, 100%. That's part of the distribution waterfall, and the one that you want is probably just a straight split. So straight split, you can do waterfalls liquidation event. It's just an 80-20 split. What we're saying is that we can support the equity split in addition to a lot of stuff more. Okay. Kyle asks, save at least like 10, 60, 200 hours. We take it to be that most GPs are spending about 40 minutes just parsing the data. And because we can parse the Renro and T12 and the OM and, coding the waterfalls, that's at least, if you're doing like, 1 or 2 hours a day, 1 or 2 hours a deal, that's at least 60 hours and so on. Okay. All right. So that's that. All right, let's talk about some of the meta points I have. So here's an interesting exercise for folks. Two truths and a lie. Okay, so this is about AI and underwriting. So I'll let you folks guess what is the lie, okay? A, you can code out ChatGPT or Cloud to automate spreadsheet underwriting. So think of this thing called Lovable. I don't know if you folks know about Lovable. Lovable is like a kind of like an AI tool. Lovable for spreadsheets. That's one statement. The next statement is you can use AI agent that handles downloading the data, parsing the OM, and generate a full underwriting model. Can AI do that? What do you think? And then the C is you can create a pitch deck and marketing emails because AI knows your business plan. Out of A, B, C, what do you think is what I believe to be the lie? In my opinion, again, this is my opinion. This is not what will happen in the world. But this is my opinion. Given that we have spent more than 2 years now on underwriting software, and I believe that A is the lie. This is the lie. This is the lie. This is the lie told by $1 trillion AI bubble. Okay, this is the lie told by the $1 trillion AI bubble. Again, might be controversial. Let me explain. How many of you have tried to use ChatGPT to do any mathematical calculation? How many of you have seen that it doesn't even spit out the same numbers once you put it into AI? Okay, that's because AI is a summarizer. It codes numbers in a bunch of like condensed format. And when it spits it back out, it doesn't have the original text anymore. It's very good at pattern matching. Anthropic Claude has claimed that they came out with this beautiful thing that can you can put in a command, it will automatically do the spreadsheet. Just like coding, if you don't know what that code spits out, you're gonna spend way more time changing those numbers. Our company uses AI for development, and my best friends had a PhD in computer science from Stanford, and and the companies they work for all make AI to be a huge deal, which it is a huge deal. But the best engineers I know reliably don't use AI to solve the most difficult problems. They use AI almost as an intern to do the easy stuff. When it comes to mathematical precision, AI just doesn't work. We try it. If I could create the spreadsheet with AI, I would have done that by now. And what we have known is, try it. Like put your spreadsheet, put any of your underwriting model into AI and ask them to automatically hey, can you create me a thing that will do this and calculate my IRR? It will hallucinate. So the question then is, will it get better? Will it get better? And that actually comes to my point number 3. And this is something, maybe this is a meta point, and folks, you can chew on this fact. AI is about interconnectedness of the different systems. It's doing kind of like, let's say you have A, B, you have A1, A2, A3, A3, A4, etc. It's developing a relationship between A1 and A2. It's to A1 and A3 and an A1 and an A4, right? And so, and an A2 and A3. So this is like n times n minus 1 divided by 2 combinations. And then it needs to do, it needs to do like A1, A2, A3, A1, A2, and A4. And so if you do all of that, it's actually 2 to the n, 2 to the n. So the cost to interpret the connectedness among all the different subsets grows exponentially compared to utility. So to basically what that means is that let me miss someone else. To achieve high school level education, it needs say X amount of electricity. To achieve, like a college level education, it needs X square amount of electricity or more. Okay, and then to achieve grad level education, it needs, so maybe call this one X, and then this is like X to the a big power, and then this is X to the big power to the big power to that. So because people are afraid of AI only if AI is really good now and it grows at a faster rate. Because if that's the case, everyone's job will be gone. It now is smart, but it learns at a faster rate than we thought. But what we know is ChatGPT 5 and ChatGPT 6, it is marginally better. It's not that much better. And so what that means is it's just because the electricity needed to power the engine will get exponentially more expensive compared to the utilities that you derive from it. So there's a slowdown in their next level achievement. Because if the opposite is true, like at this point, it should have learned faster, but we have observed that it has improved slower than we thought. I hope that makes sense. And so that's a perspective that's not like the source of truth. Take it with a grain of salt. And we kind of observe that. That's actually another point. That's why these AI companies are buying so much infrastructure, because it needs this part to develop a better system. It needs that much electricity. And is that good for humanity? That's up to debate. I think it's good for humanity. At least they're leveraging the hype to do something that's never been achieved. But basically, in order to be super, super intelligent, the way it's designed, it basically needs to galvanize the entire universe's electricity to do what you want it to do. And so that's my meta point about AI. So it's not going to take over. I don't think there will be a system that will be smarter than you anytime soon. Don't worry about it. I don't think there will be a system that will be like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna like create this thing that will like compete with like all the big companies in the world. I wish that's true. I wish we can just create something that replace, like different companies, like 10 years of hard work. It's not that easy. You can do the first prototype that makes the elementary school level achievement super fast, and you might think, oh, this is it. Only little do you know that when you get into the next level, it gets harder and harder. And so that's what I think about AI in general. And so my conclusion is that there are two hypothetical worlds out there. Okay. One is that you can create a spreadsheet, whatever spreadsheet that you use, and you can layer AI on top of it. That's literally one way to do it. And we have tried to go down that route. In fact, engineers in our team have said that is the route that people prefer. I agree with it, that everyone can continue to use your own spreadsheet. You just layer AI on top of it. The other system that we imagine is that it's a completely separate system. It's got our own spreadsheet. It's a standard system, and the con of that is everyone may not wanted to adopt it very quickly because it's not their spreadsheet. They did not make it. Okay. The other con with the first method, by the way, the con is that everyone's spreadsheet now needs to be maintained. Okay. The other con is that now everyone needs to understand everyone else's spreadsheet and so on and so forth. Okay. I think option one is almost like a tar pit idea. It's like it sounds good, but from experience, it hasn't happened, and it's really hard to make it happen. It's the easier path, to be clear. I also believe it's not the scalable path. So that's what I believe. What do you think? What do you think to the fact about hey, AI actually will not be like so this is like anti AI hype. I hope that makes sense. Even though I'm like we are a technology company, we rely on AI a lot. I don't believe that it will be that good anytime soon. Such that you can basically say, hey, I'm gonna take the spreadsheet and I'm gonna use Claude to make it. In fact, if AI does anything, it will do the following. It makes the non-engineers feel like they got better, but it actually makes the engineers become way more dangerous because they actually know how to use it. Okay, so that's what I would say. Yeah. So it's never a replacement for experience and wisdom. I love what Kyle's thinking is. Even though we are a technology company, even though we use it every day, but I'm seeing like yeah, I try to use Claw for some of our stuff. When you upload your run roll and T12, I can just tell you straight up most of the mistakes that we saw were made by ChatGPT. If we just like if this all add up and then we're like, oh, we see this keyword and this advertising means marketing, that we don't make a mistake. It's only when we put it into like ChatGPT that it starts making mistakes. So we get frustrated with some of the hallucinations that AI does. Okay, so there's that. Okay. Um, Samir asked about do we support loan products? So from the loan, so this is on the finance side. We support things like interest only, amortization, loan amount. We have a yield on cost. We have interest only payments. We have DSCR for T3, year T12, and year one. And you can add a supplemental loan, and so that's that. And you can add a prepayment penalty. So I think for most multifamily underwritings, this is sufficient. If you have any new ideas, let us know. Okay. All right. So we are almost at time. We only have 4 minutes left. Any comments, any thoughts? You can unmute yourself and then kind of the I end the call with this about what AI can do, what it cannot do. You might say, why is B not a lie? Downloading data and parsing data is actually really easy, surprisingly. Generate underwriting model. You can see this is a little bit tongue in cheek. It generates a full underwriting, which is true. Does it generate the most accurate one or the one that you will like bet your money on it? Maybe not, but at least it does generate something and it will auto correct itself to some degree. So I actually believe that B is not a lie. B is possible. In fact, it is what actually saves you the most time. Okay. What I don't believe is that A actually does anything that is substantially improves people's lives. That's what I believe. All right. Any questions? Any comments? You can unmute yourself and maybe make a comment.
Perry, can you review option? Do you have options to review a refi in the middle of a loan, in the middle of a asset?
Yes. So you can do go down and then do refinance. So right now it's a 14%. So if I come in here on a 3 year, I'm gonna do this 80%, 6% refinance cap rate, 5% interest rate. Yeah, check this out. The IRR jumps to 18% now.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. And refi, by the way, is not only at the beginning. It's like you can plug in your own T12 and say, what will a refi look like? While you are asset managing. So
And in the interest of worm retention,
what warm retention?
yeah, worm data retention. Are we keeping historical entries in the spreadsheets?
Yes. So this is all safe as well. And because like let's say this is a refi, what you can do is you can make a copy of the scenario and you can say no refi versus refi, and then you can keep a copy of that scenario. Go back to it later.
And we can keep multiple copies continuing on down.
100%. You can have infinite level of scenarios, and to see the active scenario, you click on this thing that shows you every one of those every one of those types have a scenario.
Yeah, the SEC requires us to do worm retention on data entry throughout the deal.
Oh, I see.
So if we have changes in that process, um,
Yeah, sure.
We need to be able to see those changes historically.
Great. All right. Thank you. All right. So to schedule a demo, you can use this link, demo link, or you can just go to Casual Portal at the top here, and then you click on Schedule a Demo. Most of the underwrite demos will come to me, so I will be answering your questions. To get started, simply click on AI underwriting on the left hand side, and then click into the sample underwriting. You should see it. And then you can click on add underwriting. That gets you one free deal. And then after that free deal, you can really look at it as much as you want. If you like it, then schedule a demo, and then you can upgrade anytime on the portal. I hope this is useful. This is a long journey coming. We added a bunch of things, and we hope that you enjoy them. And then next year, we hope that more and more customers are using our AI underwriting tool. And then at some point, now that I'm also a user of the product, at some point, I think you never want to go back. So thank you so much for watching. All right, thanks.